And welcome everybody to episode 105 of Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I am your co-host Steve, and always joined by
Charles there.
and of course via satellite, Bill Vicious himself. How you doing, Bill?
What up?
He's got his new hat on. He's freshly turned 45, fresh out the womb.
Crispy.
He just turned 45, so you're fresh out the womb, just by a couple of days.
Yeah.
So we are
Like a newborn again.
we are going to cover, of course, the status of the coronavirus because we can't do that enough. And we got a taste test this week. We got the Baconator Pringles Charles found.
Yeah.
My daughter does love Baconator fries. We also got some
We just
reviews.
got canceled.
Yeah. Reviews. Of course, I got some more animation. Bill comes back with another book. And we got a whole bunch of stuff ahead of time. We got coming at us live. So the first up today, we wanted to tell everybody we are live on 3 separate systems.
We're dumpster firing. That's why we're late, too.
We can interact with you anywhere you want. We got new graphics. I see them pop up right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So we got new graphics. You can interact.
Steve's got OCD. What's going on?
It's showing my little thing up there. Am I supposed to be up there when he's on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
the
didn't know.
preview through Skype.
I got it. All right. So it was throwing me off for a minute. I was like, wait. So we're live on our Twitch channel, which is I don't know what it is. Twitch/Fat Guys Little Podcast slash. And then of course on Facebook page we're live. Bill will be answering any of your questions and comments you have if you have any for us. And then we're also live on YouTube, all at the same time.
Yeah. Thanks to
nationwide.
Caster Multi-Streaming.
It took a couple tries and misfires, but we got it now. We'll get it smoother each week as we go. But so look forward to that. We're trying to look professional, slowly but surely.
I'm trying to do less work at night. I'm just trying to do it all at once.
Charles is going to drop thousands of dollars to save 20 minutes.
Yep. What's your time worth, Steve?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So first up, let's go back into COVID talk because I'm pretty sure people did not have enough conversation about COVID this week. Gretchen Whitmer came out Thursday, I believe it was Thursday, had a press conference at 11:30 a.m.
She basically lectured us.
Yes. Well, the funny thing, I don't know if you watched it, but one of the first clips she showed was that party from that beach, Sandusky Beach or whatever that was.
The Jobby Nooner Beach?
Yeah. So basically, we're in a generation now where people telling themselves, essentially.
Who told them? They
She pulled the video straight from Twitter and put it on her press conference. So if you don't want people to get yelled at or do the stupid things, maybe you shouldn't post videos every 5 seconds. But, well, who are we? We're on live too. So, but she is not closing anything down, which was the big fear here in Michigan. I don't know how it is in Illinois.
She told you if you don't shape up,
Yeah.
she's going to.
But she has enforced masks everywhere. Actually, Friday was her press
It's a
conference.
mandate, yeah.
Yeah, so if you go to a store anywhere in Michigan, you need a mask, and the store has the right to ask you to leave. For me,
I always thought they did have the right to BB's point before.
Yeah. So, well, now and they don't leave, they'll get fined by the state. And we have an example coming up in a minute where that happened. But I did find it funny. So I stop every morning to get my big gulp. That's still a bad habit.
Diabetes.
My Diet Coke, big gulp in the morning, and at a local 7-Eleven. And I did notice, like, all last week up until Friday, well, even Friday, no one wore masks. Everyone just walked in. I
Yeah.
did, but no one else did.
People are getting fast and loose.
And it's not my point. It's not I'm not that person. I'm no Karen. I'm not, oh, you need to put your mask. I don't care. You're not going to wear your mask.
It's not worth the confrontation.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's not worth
I
it.
got $2 for my super big gulp. I'm out. But then Saturday, the very next day, my wife and I went somewhere. Everybody had masks on. So once they knew the governor was going to enforce it and fine you, it's amazing how quickly everyone finds their masks.
Yeah, it just, to me, it doesn't seem like it should be that big of a deal. It also shouldn't be politicized, which it very much is, and all that kind of stuff. So, just wear your mask, people. I want to talk about it a little bit later. I wonder, and we can get into it now, I wonder if it's because they came out initially and said you didn't need to wear a mask, that it kind of took
that's a lot of people throw that
steam.
out.
Yeah, well, all of a sudden we need to wear them and blah, blah, blah. So
My thing, science and common sense kind of tells you if you wear them, you'll probably have a better chance. To me, anyway.
with a respiratory
Yeah.
issue, yeah.
Bill, is mask required in Illinois at this point?
They've been required.
Oh,
We haven't come out of where masks weren't required.
Oh, okay. Well, they were very loose here. And then now she's reinforced it, so there you go. So a great example of this. Now, this isn't mask related, but it is COVID related. Charles found this, and Heather Raise the Bar Gym in Lincoln Park. You got to get your pump on. Now here, gyms are still closed. Planet Fitness is still closed. LA Fitness.
She's not phased opened it yet.
Yeah,
She's one of the few things that she's holding out on.
Movie theaters and gyms are
Yeah.
still not allowed to be
Yeah.
open here, or any kind of sporting event type thing. And so this bar owner in Lincoln Park, or gym owner in Lincoln Park, says, "Screw that! I need to get my pump on, and so do my customers."
Yeah.
And
is it like a CrossFit gym? I wonder
It's
if
more like from what I saw on the Facebook page, it seems more like a powerhouse type gym, like meathead kind of get in there, and you got to sweat, and
the Iron Paradise.
the
The
Rock.
Rock gets the pump,
yeah,
picks
so
things up and put them down.
but here's the thing I didn't know before Heather told me this. The day before they did open, the police came in and warned him.
Yeah.
So, or you told me this actually. So what happened was, Bill, and this is a funny one. The Lincoln Park police came in. Everyone working out and everyone working there got issued
Hey, heads up, we're coming for you.
$1,000 ticket to everyone in the place, and then closed the place down. So imagine this: you're just walking on the treadmill, thinking everything's cool.
But you're not walking on a treadmill at Raise the Bar. You said it's a meathead gym.
Oh yeah, well they still have cardio. Meatheads even need cardio every once in a
Yeah.
while. So you're on the treadmill after you did your 5,000 pounds, and a dude and a cop just walks over and hands you a ticket. How pissed would you be?
$1,000, you could have easily just bought some equipment at home. You really could. It's
You
hard to
coulda
get a
called
hold
Chuck
of.
Norris and got a total gym for $1,000. So they are enforcing it. There are other gyms. I've heard reports of this, and I've got friends that go to certain gyms that aren't supposed to be open, but they are open.
Okay.
One's a powerhouse. I'm not gonna say the city, but
yeah?
So I warned him. I was like, bro, you see cops, you run out the back door.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a speakeasy in Prohibition.
yeah. So
Run.
So slowly they're starting to crack down on stuff here in Michigan. I don't know how it is in Illinois, but in Michigan, no gyms allowed yet.
Gyms are open here.
Oh, they're open in Ohio
certain
too.
regulations.
Yeah, I heard
What kind of regulations did they bring up? Curiously enough.
Well, they have to have this, be able to social distance. The equipment has to be sanitized in between change of users. Very limited capacity. I think they limit the capacity to 25% of the total people that could be normally working out.
Yeah, I had to coat at the hotel. I had to coat the whole thing in plexiglass. It's crazy. I had to hang it in between the treadmills and stuff because there's no way you could do 6 feet. So I don't know what the game plan is there.
And another one that came out during this week about coronavirus is now that they're claiming, which I already thought it was, so I'm kind of confused on this, that coronavirus is airborne.
Yeah, and they're saying through the ventilation and stuff like that. I don't know.
I always assumed it was airborne. That's why you had to wear the mask.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Maybe it's some kind of stipulation.
Well, they're saying that now you can pick it up through the HVAC in the building.
Oh, okay.
I think you still have to be in contact with somebody's respiratory particulate. It's not like the kind of virus that just can flow through the air.
That's why Bill gets
big
bugs.
You still have to be actually in contact with somebody's respiratory excretion, basically.
Stop with the big word. Particulate, excretion.
Oh, man, so much weird stuff. So there's that. Now, I wrote these notes a little earlier in the week, but since then, college football. One of the early interviews was with Jim Harbaugh. Are you familiar with his work?
Yeah, I'm well aware of Jim Harbaugh.
He doesn't care. He said COVID's going to happen regardless, so let's just play football.
You can't, but he's such an idiot.
Bill's got some Jim Harbaugh picks for you.
Yeah.
One of him picking his nose, it looks like. I don't know what's going on.
The other one behind me is him eating it.
Oh, picking and eating it. So, taste treat.
What's green?
So the problem is, and this is what Harbaugh doesn't get, you pack all those people on top of each other, it's just going to run rampant. So at some point, and it's kind of my same argument with the schools, you're going to take it to someone who's older. So, yeah, you might be of an age group that doesn't run an issue.
Harbaugh don't care. He's got to score touchdowns.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's crazy.
I just thought that was funny. And since this time, the Big Ten has come out already and said they're only playing conference games.
Conference only, and so did the Pac-12.
Now, do you like that, or would you just say forget it and just wait?
We kind of had a conversation as we were watching that terrible UFC yesterday. I think that it's the beginning of the end is what I think. I don't see how you do it. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if BV has a different theory.
No, I don't think it makes sense either, and I think eventually the college football season will end up getting scrapped. again, as we discussed last night, the NFL season probably will still go forward if at all possible, but I don't know how that's going to work either. But Jim Harbaugh, this is kind of an example of the entire problem with this COVID issue, right? Like the guy's supposed to be a leader of young men, and he's showing zero regard for the public. Like, oh yeah, this won't affect, make anything worse with COVID. Sure, let's put 100,000 people in a stadium, or even let's have
everyone will tell the truth and say they're healthy. No, because if you had COVID and you had Michigan tickets to Michigan, Ohio State, are you going to lie and say, or are you going to be the guy saying,
no, just sell them? That's all I would do right now.
Michigan fans are going to do that. They're going to go, especially if Michigan's kind of good and they got a chance.
Even with no fans, there will be a good 200 to 300 people in the stadium, throughout the game. There is no way they can socially distance in a frickin' football game.
Especially at a college football game. God, you're on top of each other.
3 or 4 kids get it, and you're going to start it. And those kids are going to go back to campus, presumably, back into their dorms, back into classes.
Have a lot of sex.
Go back.
What?
Or go back
Well, they're all banging.
Or go back.
That's what you do in college, right? Can you give COVID through sex?
See, you got extra creep. Well, you got to breathe on each other, I think. Jesus. Creep up?
With creepy uncle
Just
on
to
that.
say,
Yeah, didn't you?
Those parties.
So now this is funny too. Last week there was a news report on Channel 4 WDIV.
Click on Detroit.
They talked to people at Metro Airport, and they talked to a Delta Airlines representative and a couple other airlines. And they said in a news report that no, we're doing everything we can. We're sanitizing the planes, and we're only flying the planes half full with a lot of space. Well, we have a friend that recently went to Vegas, right? He flew Spirit Airline. Now, ask me.
Spirit was crazy in the first place.
Yeah.
Did he fly a real airline at all?
On the way back.
Okay, yeah.
He flew Spirit out there. Ask me how many empty seats were in Spirit
Probably
Airline.
zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It was a completely sold out plane. So I don't know how there's social spacing there. And they handed him a handy wipe if he wanted to wipe out his seat.
Geez.
Yes, that's what Spirit's doing. So then you say, well, Delta is a much better airline. That's what he flew on the way back. And guess what plane was filled to the gills there?
wow.
And they even stuck a stranger between him and his woman
Oh, wow.
on the way home. So
Wow.
they did have to wear masks. Now they didn't force that. There and back, they had to wear masks. But if you think that these airlines are flying these planes half full and spaced out, it's a lie. And even though they were on the news saying that's exactly what they're doing. So if they're not doing that, they're not sanitizing like they claim they are.
I was reading the other day that 1,000 TSA people have COVID-19 or have had COVID-19 and stuff like that. So 550 Delta employees have had it. It's rampant in that industry. I don't know why. It's a calculated risk. Do you want cheap flights and you're running the risk that you're going to get severely ill? Have fun. If it's worth it, go for it. It's not for me. I'm not flying anytime soon.
No, me either.
I'm not going to college football anytime soon.
I'm not going to pro football. I ain't going to any sports anytime soon.
I'm not going anywhere you pack in like that. Yeah, it's just not happening.
So also, now the more personal note today, I thought I put on the notes. Maybe I didn't. I did go out to 12 Oaks Mall and experience this big mall first time since COVID.
Yeah.
First off, it's only a quarter full, if that. So that's nice. There's not a lot of people there. We were going to go to Cheesecake Factory because my wife wanted to go there because she's convinced in August everything's going to get shut down again.
I think she's right.
Yeah, so she wanted to get it in before it got closed. We went there, and Cheesecake Factory's only doing carry-out. So
Which is crazy.
You
have a huge facility at the Cheesecake Factory.
Which is funny because, you've been there. Cheesecake's here. We went to California Pizza. It was just across the aisle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 20 feet from Cheesecake Factory.
And if I remember correctly, that California Pizza Kitchen's not enormous.
No,
either.
it's not.
Yeah.
So why are they open but Cheesecake isn't?
That square foot. But then again, Cheesecake Factory did some weird stuff when all this kind of jumped off where they didn't pay their leases and stuff like that. So they might be doing some whole angle of like, it's not safe or something.
So the only complaints I have about the mall is about 30% of the stores are closed. I'm not a big fan of Novi Mall to begin with, and there's not a lot of stuff there that
12 Oaks Mall. You call
12
it.
Oaks. Sorry. The Apple store was funny. You had to wait in lines outside the store from one side of the wall, one side of the other, and then a guy would come and take you, and you would personally walk. So, like, when you see the store, there's only maybe 5 people in that whole store. I've never seen an Apple store that empty. But everybody's on the outside in long lines.
Yeah, you know what's weird, too? I went past the other day. I went past the Starbucks. It's right over here in West Dearborn. they're all like they're not letting them in the physical building, so they're like corralling up against the doors and like doing like weird pickups and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really a
really
weird
weird.
scene. Yeah.
So, and then another move they do at 12 Oaks is they closed all the bathrooms but one. So there's one
So they
bathroom.
can
in,
probably control it better. Is that what they're?
yeah,
trying
but
to
then
do?
you're hurting everyone into the same bathroom. And then when you go to the men's bathroom, there's 4 urinals. 3 of them are closed. They didn't even do like every other
Jeez.
one. So you're like waiting in line to take. It was
So
terrible.
you're having to like touch more surfaces. Waiting,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, don't go to any malls.
Yeah.
That was my last mall trip. And I did get the test, and I did not have COVID. The antibodies came back, said I never had it.
Oh,
So I never had COVID, and I'm clean and no antibodies or anything like that. So I did get my results. I shouldn't know if I told you guys.
I can
that
tell by
earlier in the
looking
week.
at you.
I know. I'm feeling hot. I'm gonna start coughing here in a minute. But and lastly on our news, and I put this up top beginning because Bill is a big fan. Bill, tell them what a Portillo's is in Chicago.
Portillo's is a sort of fast food restaurant.
Chicago institution.
Yeah, with it's a Chicagoland staple. It's sort of, most of them have sort of like a 50s sort of theme to it, sort of like your old bellhop kind of place, and they're known for their Italian beef sandwiches, which are
Delicious.
a real big thing in Chicagoland. And the
They're so
Chicago
good.
style hot dog, which I never quite understood. It has like
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
cucumber and pickle and
I don't
sport
think I've
pepper.
ever had little bitty
You know,
pickles, right? Yeah.
And they put it on
Yeah,
a bun with those little black seeds on it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
the poppy seeds. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the hot dog.
but they have a lot of really good food.
Shakes. They love
There's
this.
one right around the corner from my house.
Yeah.
So
Bill's a lot thinner than I would be if I had a Portillo's right around my house. I'd be like,
you
oh.
get
delicious
sick of
food.
it.
I'm
after a
like,
while.
cut out the wall. I gotta go to Portillo's.
I think putting one in Sterling Heights is pretty good for us because then
Yeah, it's not super good.
Yeah.
So the news is Portillo's is opening in Sterling Heights. They've got all the permits. It was a big thing on Channel 4 News and Detroit News that there will be a Portillo's now opening in Michigan.
I go to that Permanente Brothers at Southland occasionally here and there. I
that's not
love
bad
Permanente
either.
Brothers.
So if you want some good Italian beef, I know Wiggs is a huge fan. My
Yeah,
wife's a
Wiggs
huge
is
fan.
probably already making a
a
road
lot of
trip.
us are all huge fans. So
It's
big
delicious
thumbs up.
food.
I imagine it's gonna be pretty packed when it first opened.
You
but,
gonna make the long drive out there to get it, or
Yeah, we went out there to float. We can go out there to get some some beef. So
how
there's
far
little,
is that? 45 minutes or so, or
yeah, I'd say that somewhere in there. They also got that big go kart area, so maybe take Holly out there and Lorna, and they can go drive go karts or something. You know,
I won't go until it's been open for a while.
Yeah, it's
It'll
gonna be crazy when it
chaos,
first opens.
yeah. Nothing is worse than that Chick-fil-A still on the hill. It's crazy.
Oh, there's that one. We passed it. It wasn't open because it's Sunday, but there's one in Novi now in that parking lot.
Oh, is there?
It's right off the freeway, so I imagine it's got a
Because
back
that whole
up.
area, that 12 Oaks area gets crazy.
yeah, and they put it right by the freeway entrance. I'm like, this is insane. Why would they put it here? I mean, it was closed today, so I didn't have to deal with it. But man, I can't imagine what it's like when it's open. So there we go.
Takes off. I'm just saying, if that Portillo's takes off, like I imagine it probably will, they could very easily put 2 or 3 up a year.
Yeah,
Or you'll look up 10 years from now, and the whole freaking metro area will be saturated.
I'd be fine with that. As long as they keep the quality.
Steve's
up.
willing to accept that.
Yeah. Please let it invade.
It is delicious food. It is delicious.
It can take over all the areas where Sonic's at. No one really
Sonic
likes
is pretty
Sonic's.
overrated.
Yeah,
Sonic is a
Extremely overrated.
yeah.
Yes.
It to me is one of those things that was had a great advertising campaign,
At the
and then
first.
also its scarcity. But then when you finally had it, you're like, well, why did I really want this?
Yeah, it's like kind of lame. So we've already come up with a plan. We're going to remove all Sonics and replace them with Portillos.
Yeah. How much is the conversion?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of the current news. And now, Charles, you found a taste treat for us this week. Tell everybody what you
Yeah,
did.
so I was wandering through Meijer, and I'd seen these. I'd never seen them before. Wendy's apparently works in conjunction with some Pringles to come up with Baconator Pringles, and I thought that this is a perfect thing. I know, BV, you scored some out in Chicago, right? You're good to go. You got
did.
yourself a sleeve of them there. Yeah, so, I mean, they look pretty good. So I was like, let me get this with Steve, and let's give him a taste test. So let me pop these.
Of course, my
guys.
wife and daughter want me to bring home a couple for them so they could try it too.
So first of all, they smell very big. They also got like a weird ketchupiness to them.
Yeah.
Ketchup smell.
So I don't know if Holly's going to like them because it's based on the burger, not the fries.
Yeah, it's got a
I
definite.
bet you it's got a burger flavor to them, which
yeah.
I'm fine with that. I don't know.
Their burger is tasty.
I don't eat the Baconator. I'm not a fan.
It definitely does have a burger flavor to it.
Does it? Yeah. They got
Mm-hmm.
they nailed
bit.
that beefness to it.
We're all crunching like motherfuckers.
Yeah, all right. I gotta tell you, I don't like that beefiness. I do not like that taste.
They should have just went with cheese and bacon.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like more of a bacon thing. BB, what are you thinking?
I love it.
Now, here's a good thing. You should give one of these to Abby and see if she likes it, because she's a vegetarian. Would you like a beef
It's probably got
flavored
beef
chip?
powder. It's probably got stock.
She
on it.
probably won't eat it.
Don't tell her. Just be like, listen, it's a vegetarian.
I don't know. I know BV's down with it, but that beef flavor is off-putting to me. I don't know how else to describe it. That is weird.
I don't think it's bad. I don't love it, but the chip feels like it'd been better without the burger flavoring. Just the cheddar and the bacon. But then again, I guess it'd be cheddar bacon chip.
Yeah, and
What do
those
you need?
exist, right?
You don't need Wendy's.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Glad I bought 2 cans of this.
BV's gonna do work on those, huh?
Man, they're going to be crumbs by the end of the week.
It's a
He's like, tonight.
This can may be done by the end of the podcast.
He's like,
I
Fiji
gotta
water
tell you,
baconator
man,
chips.
I'm not down. I'm gonna thumbs down the Baconator Pringle. There's much tastier Pringles that exist.
Well, I agree with you. There's much tastier, but I didn't think it was bad. So I'm going to say, I'm not really thumbs up, but yeah, what is that? A 5 out of 10, you know?
I'm like more like a 3.
I wouldn't go out seek them and buy another can, but if someone had them, give me some
It's
chips.
like you said, it's a cheddar bacon chip with a weird beefiness to it, like someone doused it in beef bouillon.
Hey, Bill, your final thoughts?
I wish that I had more hands so I could give it 4 thumbs up.
Wow.
Throughout the podcast, we're going to hear
Yeah,
random
just
crunching noises.
away.
I should caveat here that you will be hearing crunching for probably the better part of the remainder of the podcast.
Wow.
I didn't mind it. Charles not a fan, and
Yeah,
Bill
I'm not a fan.
doesn't have enough thumbs to give it a thumbs up.
Wow.
All
BB's
right.
all about Baconator, huh?
Yeah, so next week we're going to have a breakfast cookie. Bill's going to try to find it, but good luck. We have an apple caramel and a peanut butter right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of a locally deal.
Yeah, and it had double chocolate, and there was an oatmeal one too, but I just went with caramel and peanut butter. They're about $1.50 at the, I forgot the name of that market, but whatever, Happy Town Market or whatever it is, it's somewhere off of
Yeah,
Lily
it's probably
Road.
like some weird local deal.
Yeah, Michelle loves that little market, so. All right, so now this week we watched some stuff, played some stuff. Charles, you started us off with the one I wanted to see in theaters but didn't happen.
Yeah, so I talked about it last week. I got a free Apple Plus subscription when I bought that iPhone SE, and they sent me like a prompt, and I was like, 12 months for free. Let's check out what's going on. Mm-hmm. So this is a Tom Hanks vehicle. He's a World War II. I think he's an admiral of a battleship that's leading a convoy across the Atlantic Ocean. It was supposed to be a big theatrical release. COVID-19 happened, and the world is different. So basically, Apple kicked whoever the producer, and it's also got like a Chinese company behind it, which I thought was kind of like Zhangshao Film or something like that. Kicked them some money and threw it on their streaming service. Now, this premiered on Friday. I watched it all. I thought it was amazing.
How long is it?
So only about 1 hour and 40, if I'm going to say. It's not a super long movie. Here's why it's amazing as a dude. You don't see a military movie or like a historical military movie where they don't give a crap about trying to give him any kind of background, any kind of... He's got a momentary thing with like Elizabeth Shue before he ships out.
See, not to interrupt you, but
No,
a lot of
okay.
reviews I've read, that's the part they hate, that it doesn't
I don't give a shit.
do the character development. See, I don't think 1917 did a lot of character development either, and I love that movie.
Yeah, I don't think that the movie's suffering from that. It's
lot of people
very
do, though.
much it's showing you what it's like to cross the Atlantic Ocean with U-boats. Go. You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to sit here and have him hold pictures of his kids and all this kind of stuff. Like they're showing you what it was like to run a vessel with U-boats chasing you down. It was crazy intense. The only thing I'll say about it that was kind of a knock, and I know me and Steve can be kind of anal about some of this stuff, some of the effects had a little bit of jank to it, and that's it looks beautiful 99% of the time, but
certain
95.
scenes
But
that
there's a
catches your
couple of them
eyes,
where
yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
It looks a little cheese ball and all this kind of stuff, but this is great. It is right up there with any of the bigger World War II movies. And again, I don't need to have the problem with Pearl Harbor was we had way too much of the other shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's a movie that's just showing you him getting across the Atlantic Ocean in a convoy of ships. This movie's great. This movie's a 9 out of 10. The U-boat comes, the German commander of the U-boat comes over there Greyhound, this is Grey Wolf coming for you and all this kind of stuff. And he's running that whole it's just they're throwing depth charges and you just felt like part of the action. This movie is phenomenal. I don't know. I know why Tom Hanks is bummed that it didn't get a chance to get out in the theaters because I think it would have made a ton of money. But don't come to it. Don't take your woman to it and think you're going to have some big fleshed out, oh my goodness, it must have been so hard to leave his wife. Who cares? All right? This is what it's like to cross the Atlantic Ocean. It was great. This movie is phenomenal. So
Big thumbs up.
Yeah, huge thumbs
9
up.
out of 10, you said?
Yeah, and it's worth a trial to Apple Plus just to cancel it out or do whatever just to check it out.
At this point, is it hands down the best thing on there?
Yes, yeah, by a mile. It's not even close.
I was going to ask you, did you watch it last week? You didn't mention it. The one with Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell, and
No, I'm not watching that. That terrible news radio
yeah,
thing.
I,
or
don't know.
whatever.
I didn't know if you.
Where they're doing the Daily Show.
that
Not
was-
even
they put a lot
the
of money
morning
into that,
show
yeah.
or whatever. No.
Oh, okay. And I know you like Steve Carell, so I was curious.
Yeah,
'cause
Steve
that's-
Carell's been laying some eggs for me lately.
that was a big one on that service. That's why I was curious if you watched it.
Yeah, no, but yeah, this
I will have to check this out.
Greyhound, huge thumbs up, 9 out of 10. Don't go to it if you want a full-fledged. You want to see what it was like in the 40s to run this ship across the Atlantic Ocean. This is your movie, man, and it is intense.
Now, a thing, and it's not Greyhound's fault, but Apple TV, Apple Plus, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have any Xbox apps.
Okay.
So I can't get it on my TV in the living room. I gotta watch it either on a iPad or something.
okay.
Or a PlayStation. Doesn't have either one. So I was kind of bummed by that because that's what I use to stream a lot of my stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's not. And I have a built-in smart TV, but it's only got 7 apps or whatever, and it never has any new apps on there. So that's kind of a bummer. But Charles loves it, and unfortunately, you won't
Huge
see
thumbs
it.
up for Greyhound.
I wanted to go to the theater to see this, but unfortunately,
I think it's one of those
we're all gonna
movies-
watch it on iPads.
If you had seen it in the theater, you'd have been pretty well happy leaving it. You'd have been like, that was intense.
Sounds
man.
good.
It was great.
But like I said, all the reviews I read, they've knocked it because of not enough character development.
I'm loving it because it didn't have it. I'm like, who
I know.
gives a shit?
I didn't think 1917 had any character development. I love
it
that
was,
movie.
what is it like to get through and find a brother? Go.
Yeah.
I mean,
So now we're going to switch up from movies. I played a game this week, and I did stream it on when we were testing on our cast.
let me put your game stuff up here for everyone to know. They can hit you up at Momarky.
Yeah, that's right.
Or 313.
Yeah, and but I played this one on Steam, but it is available on PlayStation 4. It's available on everything. Listen, the Hitman series hasn't changed
Hold on,
in
let
20
me check on BBC if he's eating more Pringles.
No, he's just sitting there.
I put the can away. I just ate another little handful. And that's it.
I was checking for Pringle eggs.
This game came out in 2018, so it's a little bit older. But Steam had a big summer sale, which I got the Darksiders and I got this one. This one's only $17. Hitman hasn't changed in 20 years, right? You've played old Hitman games. It's all
It's a lot
stealth.
of trial and error.
A lot of trial and error. It does get on your nerves after a while. At certain points of the game, you just want to grab a machine gun and kill everybody's ass, but you can't. You have to sneak around. You have to do things. It's all about being an assassin, a quiet assassin. And I like if you like that gameplay. So it's a lot like Splinter Cell, but even in Splinter Cell, you can run and gun some. It's
Is this
Hitman.
third
you cannot.
person, first
yeah, third
person?
person, just like it's always been. The weird thing these new Hitman games do, and I don't know if you're aware of this, they release the game in chapters. So if a game is 7 chapters, it'll 1 month release the game, the chapter for $10. And then a couple months later, the second chapter, third. So what I always do, I just wait until
for the bundle at the end.
Yeah, that's what. So this is the bundle with all the stuff. I don't know why they've been doing that, and it's one of the only games I know that still does that. The Walking Dead Telltale series did that too.
Yeah, episodes.
So they release episodes / chapters, and then eventually you get them all done. You get the complete story, but I don't know if that's because they're developing as they go, or I don't know why they do that. But Steam has the whole bundle. It's $17. I think the sale might be over now. So if you like Hitman and you like sneaking, I can't really get too many flaws to it.
How them graphics look.
Oh, they look really nice. They had a lot of light, like the first mission's in the rain. You're sneaking into a house when the lightning's going off and it's dark, so it looks pretty good. Got voiceovers. It's got a lot of stuff, so I can't really knock it that much. I'd probably give the game. You see, the problem is you got to be really into stealth. So if you're not really into stealth,
I don't like that.
that slow-paced trial and error
just
stuff.
trial and error.
So that probably knocks it down a little bit because I'd like to just grab, like I said, grab a machine gun. The other thing is you don't really have any health. Like you don't know. Like if you get caught and got shot once, you don't die right away. But
is there like outward? Like do you get blood on the suit or something like that?
no, you don't. There's no way. You're seeing them from behind. So if you get shot like in the chest or whatever, there's no. I don't see the health bar right away. Then all of a sudden, like by 2 or 3 shots, you're dead and you just drop. So that's kind of a bummer. So I give it probably an 8 out of 10. I don't mind the games, but I would like to do a little more running and cutting. But and then the weird open chapter stuff is kind of weird too. But for $17, you couldn't beat it. And I think it's well worth the value.
Those Steam sales are great for that reason. Just get some randomness. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Those old Tomb Raider games and stuff like that cheap.
Yeah. And then the 17th of this week, I already have it reserved. Is that the new Samurai game for PS4 is coming out. I think it's this Friday. I will have
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, so we'll have some gameplay up on that one, and I'll be looking at that one this week. So who watched Tough as Nails?
So yeah, I did. So this is a new CBS show. It's got Phil Keegan, the head or the host of The Amazing Race, and he goes around. He got, I think it's 16 blue collar people to go and do basically challenges with 2 teams, and they're going to go through and do. The first thing was put a bunch of mortar mix in wheelbarrows and wheel them over and palletize this mortar mix. And then that person got to pick one team. And then the other one, they had to erect a brick wall. And this is like Hollywood's idea of what blue-collar work is, if that makes sense. So it's like the challenges are kind of insulting, if that makes sense. Like So make them do something that takes like 8 hours, and then make them go home and drink a bottle of whiskey because I mean, if you really want to
pound a 12-pack of beer,
like it's okay. It's one of the few shows that are somehow it's live or it's able to come up with episodes during. They must have been in the can or something like that right now. So it's for what we have going on with TV and stuff like that. It's a pretty decent show. It's just not mind blowing. And you go from the guy with The Amazing Race, which is one of the best reality TV shows, to this one. Like, this is the exact middle of the road, like 5 out of 10 type show where it's like, yeah, there's not much on right now. I don't know what America's Got Talent's going to do or anything like that. So it's like I said, it's Hollywood's idea of what blue collar work is. So it's just kind of like, okay.
Are you going to keep watching it?
Probably, just because there's not much on. It's just lack of options at this point. Like, I've been watching a lot of, like, Broken Skull Ranch came back. I love that show. That's one of my favorite shows. But this Tough as Nails is just okay. I don't know how else to describe it.
So you're watching people do construction work for a half hour?
Not even for a half hour. That's what I keep saying to Heather. I'm like, okay, this is construction for 20 minutes. Like, okay, like, talk to me when it's 95 degrees. It's been 8 hours. Now we're doing construction.
Yeah, I think they should have them asphalt a roof in 100 degrees for 8 hours.
Yeah.
To see which ones drop first. All right, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give?
Like I said, it's middling. It's like 5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Not something I'd be like, hey, did you watch Tough as Nails? Like, I'm not going to say that to anyone ever.
All right, so now next, I did get some stand-up in this week. Now, Bill, you're familiar with Jim Jeffries, right?
Yes.
He's an Australian stand-up comedian. He also has a show on Comedy Central, I believe. He had one for a while. He has 2 specials on Netflix. I liked them both, this one and the previous one. What he does is he tells an overarching story, and then, like, during parts of the story, he gets sidetracked to go off on other parts, and then comes back to the story. It's kind of funny. So, yeah. So he's talking intolerant is because later in life, he's 42 years old. At 36, he became lactose intolerant and didn't know it. So all the cheeses and all the ice cream that he loves now he can't eat.
You can develop lactose intolerance late in life? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, apparently. It happened to him. It happened to me, too, for a while. I know it sounds weird, but if I drink a big, tall glass of milk, my stomach, I don't shit myself, but my stomach feels like someone punched me in the stomach. Yeah. But now if I eat some cheese pizza or something, I'm fine. But it's a big, tall glass.
Just a big glass of dairy, you're not down
it's like,
with
it does affect me a little bit. So I guess it can happen. So he tells stories and it's pretty good overall. He's not. Is he the greatest stand-up? No, but he's very, very Australian though. So you gotta keep that in mind. The only thing I don't like, and it seems like every comedian now has to do this, they bitch at the crowd about how our standards have changed and
you can't be a comedian.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so sick of that. That's one of the things that Rogan goes off about. Like,
yeah.
It's
well,
like,
Dave
okay.
Chappelle did it in his last special,
Yeah,
and
I
he
don't
refers
know.
to that Dave Chappelle special.
And like Louis C.K., like whipping your dick out's not normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, he's not even talking about that. It's more about how we're
The
comedians.
cancel culture.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cancel get that, and I've seen that in so many stand-ups.
So sick of
now.
that rant.
It's like, okay, we get it. You got a tough life as a comedian. But so that probably knocks it down a few pegs. But overall, if you like Jim Jeffries, he's pretty funny. Most of it was about trying not to shit himself because he ate a bunch of dairy. So that was funny. So I liked it. I give him probably an 8 out of 10. It wasn't one of the ones I watched. It wasn't a lesbian writer thing that Bill watched. But I don't know about that lady.
No, you are not.
Jim Jeffries was good, though. So, Charles, you're back to the Teen Titan thing. I assume it's you and not Bill.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, it's me.
It's not me.
Okay. So
I don't know what this is, to be honest.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Booyah!
dude. So I do not like superhero shows. I do not like superhero movies. I do not like anything Teen Titans. But this Teen Titan Go show is the funniest show. It's got to be written by 40-year-old dudes. They have all the same references from the 80s as me and you do. Yeah. It is hilarious.
It's kind of the appeal of the Penguins from Madagascar. Because I think a lot of guys that worked on that moved over to this show.
It is hilarious. I cannot get enough of Teen Titans Go. And it is the one show that my daughter will watch that I just will sit down with her and I will crack up at. It is hilarity. So they came up with The Night Begins to Shine was their ode to an 80s like power ballad like rock song. And the guys who wrote the show created the song, and then it got like this weird cult following. So then what they did, because again, the Teen Titans Go is one of the smartest written shows, they took it and made like a weird like Akira anime movie to it with The Night Begins to Shine. That was part one. Part two is a continuation of this Night Begins to Shine arc with that same like manga, Akira kind of stuff. See, it is so spot on. Like I just can't. Because even Heather kind of doesn't get it, like the Night Begins to Shine stuff, because she wants the song. The song is phenomenal, and she wants more of the song. But like I keep telling her, I'm like, this is so right on its tone and like its weird epicness all the time, and then like major guys come in. It's just Steve. It is so good. I cannot.
Where did you find this?
It's on Cartoon Network.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's part of the show. They have a Night Begins to Shine special, and then this was part 2 of that special.
Oh, okay.
I cannot say enough good things about this stuff. It is, and I think that whoever writes this show, I don't even need it to be the Teen Titans. They could do any other show, and I would love it, and it would just tickle me so bad. I cannot get enough of it. A Night Begins to Shine Part 2. Find it on the Cartoon Network, and you can watch it with your kids. But your kids, like Lorna, doesn't get any of the references that I'm laughing at so hysterically at. It's just, God, I love Teen Titans Go. And like I said, A Night Begins to Shine is just the epitome of their reverence, and I just can't get enough of it.
Better than the movie?
The movie was a misstep. We kind of chronicled that on this show. I didn't think the movie was as good as it could have been, and I think that if I saw them, I'd let them know that. I would, the writers, but God, that show is so good, and I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the writers, once the Penguins of Madagascar, because they had a little show for a while, they had the movie, and once that ended, I think a lot of them did go over to Teen Titans. So that's where you're getting a lot. The Penguins of Madagascar were funny as hell, too.
Yeah.
And a lot of their humor transfers over into that Teen Titans.
Show.
Yeah. So there we go. So Greyhound, Charles can't give enough thumbs up, just like BV with the Pringles. Hitman 2.
I'd be snacking on them Greyhounds.
Hitman 2 still solid after all these years if you like sneaking around. Tough as nails. Jim Jeffries, Intolerant. You want to hear a funny lactose intolerant story? That's a stand-up for you. And Teen Titans Go, still funny after all these years.
Still great.
All right, guys, I'm going to take you back. Take you back.
Strap in, BB.
You think of 12-year-old Pudgy Steve. And 12-year-old Pudgy Steve every Saturday morning would get up at 7, 8 a.m. and watch Saturday morning cartoons until 11 a.m. 11 a.m. What would come on WWE Superstars would come on. You watch that for an hour, and after that is 12 p.m. 12 p.m. What comes on? Channel 20, Channel 50. Godzilla movies came on, and I'd watch Godzilla movies for 2 hours, and usually they were back to back so I could watch 4 hours. So that's most of my Saturdays. A 12-year-old during the summer, and every once in a while, the Godzilla movies would get swapped out for an Ultraman movie. Okay. So Ultraman,
another bad Japanese character.
So what I understand now as an adult, what Ultraman they had a lot of leftovers from the Godzilla sets. Okay. So they're like, let's make another show real quick.
Hey, can we put a dude in a silver suit?
Yes. So the storyline back in the original 70s and 80s for Ultraman it was a Japanese scientist who found a special alien suit that made him into Ultraman. It gave him certain powers, and if you remember, he can grow up to be the size of Godzilla. And then he would always fight alien invaders, usually over Tokyo.
I want to make sure everyone. This is Steve's animation corner.
Yes.
I didn't want to.
Well, the story leads into it here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So that is where we left off as pudgy-year-old 12-year-old Steve. So now we're going to Steve's animations corner. Now you know the backstory already. So Steve's always wanted to see some Japanese animation that would live up to something like that. But as we've chronicled on the show many times, Japanese animation looks great, but the stories are always dog crap, and they always don't make any sense whatsoever.
Nightwing has a shine nail, so...
Yes, so this is where I think I finally succeeded in finding something that's kind of comprehensible as a Japanese animated show. This is half-hour shows. There's 10 shows. It's on Netflix. It is called Ultraman, Season 1, ironically enough.
How did they come up with that name?
I don't know. And here's the story. The story made sense. So the original Ultraman now, this is 2 decades later, the aliens have left. He's kind of an old man and retired. He's got a son who's 20 years old. Well, guess what?
He's an old man and retired. He's got a son that's 20.
Oh, yeah, somewhere in there. They always have to have a young guy, Yeah. So he's fully retired kind of, but... So aliens come back now, and they come back, and they're invading Earth again, different aliens. And so what the old man does, he gets hurt trying to be Ultraman again, and he passes the Ultraman suit down to his son, and now his son is Ultraman trying to fight the aliens. Very easy concept, makes sense. Okay. It's basically Japanese Iron Man. It's all it is. Okay. So it's very simple. I was so relieved that I didn't have to sit through all this. It's a good show. I was quite shocked by this. Even Michelle, who sat through 3 or 4 episodes with me, she goes, "This one makes sense." I go, "Yes, it does." Now, don't get me wrong. There are still some quirky characters here and there, and you go like, but for the most part, and the only difference with this new one, and it does continue from the original movie storyline. Like, you see highlights of the original movies where, like, right now, Ultraman's a legend in Japan. They have, like, dioramas in museums about him and stuff like that. So they continue.
How's the animation look?
Now, here's the cool thing. They take 3D, like, Pixar animation and layer over it with Japanese animation cell shading look. And it comes out pretty good. Usually that's terrible, but it looks really good. So you get, like, 3D movements with a 2D look. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Beautiful looking show. And then the Ultraman 2, he's done up. The old suit was just spandex, and this suit is like very Iron Man. It's just all intricate,
like plate tectonic kind of thing.
Yeah, and it all comes together, and the face mask lifts up like Iron Man's does. He even got the glowy circle, and it could be copyright infringement. I'm not sure, wow. But Ultraman's been around a long time.
So and Robert Downey Jr. does the voice. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's so weird, but the only bummer thing, and I'm at episode 8. I haven't got to 10. He doesn't grow huge. He stays normal size, and the aliens are normal size. They're not like city destroying.
They're not taking over downtown Tokyo.
Yeah, so they kind of changed that for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe the last episode he grows huge, and an huge alien comes in. I haven't got there yet. But I tell you, and everyone's going to tell me, well, you need to watch Cowboy Bebop. Saw it, it's terrible. You need to watch Attack on Titan. Saw it, it's terrible. So I've watched a lot of Japanese anime, and we've talked about it on this podcast.
This sounds like this is your most positive one.
This is hands down. It looks beautiful. The story makes sense. The voice acting's pretty solid. You can't screw it up. I mean, is it perfect? No. All right. Yeah, there's still, things that you're like, oh, okay, the Japanese anime quirks, but out of all of them I've seen, this is the one that if you were into Japanese anime, I think a normal casual person would probably enjoy more. I mean, if you're goth and this is all I do is read anime and, Hello Kitty's my savior, then obviously you're going to hate it. But it appeals more to the casual crowd. So I give it an 8 out of 10 A Japanese animation show. Never thought I'd do that in my life because
Wow.
I've been so discouraged by all the crap I've seen.
Was there any forests or any Studio Ghibli?
No forests. No forests. There was no forest creatures. There was no forest gods. So I'm telling you, it was normal. Japanese Iron Man.
Did everyone run everywhere like in the Japanese movies? Did anyone
No,
walk?
they're driving police cars.
Oh,
So
okay.
you know,
Wow.
it's so normal. At first I wasn't sure if it was actually Japanese. I
Yeah,
was
did
like,
you check the country of origin?
yeah, but when the credits come up, you kind of know it's Japanese. But other than that, so a big thumbs up to Ultraman season 1. It's on Netflix. It's probably the best Japanese anime thing I've seen. I mean, I guess you could argue Voltron's Japanese anime a little bit, but I'm pretty sure DreamWorks made that newest Voltron, so I don't think so. So now the other one we watched, and Charles has already seen this a while back with his daughter.
Yep.
Trolls World Tour. I watched that one. I like the look of the land and stuff. It reminds me of
The
Little Big
aesthetic
Planet.
of it's really good.
Yeah.
That velvety texture that they put on everything.
Very Little Big
Yeah.
Planet, it looks like. Reminds me of that a lot. I mean, a lot of music.
There's a lot of music in it.
It is a lot of
It's
music.
better than Scooby though.
The only thing kind of, so all the pop music was current music and stuff like that. The one country western song they did was the most
Kelly
weird.
Clarkson one? Or-
Yeah, I was like, what is this one? I didn't even recognize it.
Yeah.
You think all the poppy country music they have right now, they would have gone with some of it, but they didn't. Although it was entertaining. I can see how your daughter would have loved it.
Yeah.
I don't get why it got a sequel from the first one to begin with. I guess it's because it's music and doesn't it
I
cost
think
money?
they're
to
really
license?
popular. I mean, they got the Lego tie-in and everything. with
Yeah,
it.
so I don't know. If you're a kid, you're gonna love it. If you're a grown 45-year-old man who does like animation, I mean, animation is beautiful. So I give it 5 for the animation alone. Voice acting and singing was pretty good, so I give it a 6. I give it to Steve 6. I mean, Holly probably give it a little higher. Holly likes the Trolls, and of course your daughter probably. It's probably not targeted. to
They're
us.
not bad to watch as adults, though. They're not terrible.
Yeah. They're not. Sam Rockwell was a voice. I saw his voice in there. I
He
always
played the weird lederhosen guys or whatever.
No, he played one of the sheriff, the
okay.
cowboy. Kelly Clarkson played like the Dolly Parton
Yeah.
character or whatever. So not bad. So 6 out of me. If you're a girl under 20, you'll probably like the Trolls already. It's not really appealing to us guys that much. So Bill, you read a book, and I heard it's really hard on trivia. But tell us a little bit about the Ultimate Football Trivia book.
BB's book corner.
Yeah, as he pulls up his library.
Well, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks, I've been having a hard time finding things that I feel like reading. So when I came across this Ultimate Football Trivia book, which is 600 questions for the superfan,
Kind of
Actually,
shot
trying
me
to be
one
more
of
like
those. I
700.
got the
What?
worst aftertaste from those bacon chips.
I don't like those chips.
Do you have the aftertaste, Bill?
no, not really.
Oh, my God.
BB just got the aftertaste.
Okay,
of
go ahead, Bill.
delicious.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So
He had weird beef burps.
So it actually turned out to be more like 700 questions, but I thought, well, I mean, you guys know I'm a big sports nerd
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a
you are.
big sports trivia buff. So
Rayford Johnson.
usually sports trivia, questionnaires, shows, books I completely dominate. This turned out not to be so much a trivia book as just some guy scoured Pro Football Reference for like 2 years, pulled up the most obscure and detailed stuff he could come up with. I went through and before the show and went back and checked all because I was writing in a little notebook, writing my answers and then checking them to see how many I got right. I expected to
He
get
kept
probably
score. BB kept score on his book.
well, I just wanted to see, especially early on when I realized how hard it was going to be, I expected to probably get about 85-90% of questions right because I usually do. And I got about 68% total.
I like how he he did the goddamn math.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, it was
I
like
got about
67.6.
67.9.
Okay, so, but it had like a theme to it. So you went through and there was a section of questions for it starts with the draft and it goes into rookies, players, coaches, a lighter side, award winners, teams, postseason Super Bowl Hall of Fame.
How is the book set up? Is it just like here's a question, and then the answers on the back side of the page, or how is the book set up?
Basically they run a section. So like the first section, the draft, they talk a little bit about the draft. They get some history about like the first ever draft was held at the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia in 1936. Blah blah blah. About a page or two of the background, and then they just start asking questions, and they're kind of like subcategorized. So right off the bat, and here's one for you. The very first question made me realize this is not going to be an easy book. And I actually got this one right, but In 1984, the NFL held a supplemental draft of players from the now defunct USFL. Blank was the first pick of that draft.
Steve Young?
It was, yes.
Hey! It's the only guy I knew from the
Well,
Yeah,
was the
there's
thing.
a handful.
Either had to be Steve Young or Herschel Walker.
Yeah,
I was
it's
gonna
one or the
say.
other. That was it.
What is it? Warren Mooney, USFL guy?
No, he
Was Jim
he played in
Kelly?
the CFL.
CFL, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Jim Kelly, yeah.
I don't know.
But
Just
it
funny.
goes, and then they go, like, they have some questions about every team, and they do this a lot for some of these. So, like, example, Charles, you're a Steeler fan. What year produced
I ain't gonna know this shit.
what year produced arguably the greatest draft in the history of the NFL? A draft where Pittsburgh selected Lynn Swann, Jack Lambert, John Stallworth, and Mike Webster in the same
Gotta be
year.
in the 70s.
Yeah,
right?
like 72 or something.
The question, this is a multiple choice. So it's A 1970, B 1971, C 1968, D 1974.
I'm gonna go with 71.
I'll
Just
go with
'cause-
68.
It was 74,
Oh Jesus!
and I only knew that one by accident. So I got that was one of those ones I just happened. Here's another one. Only one Steelers quarterback was taken first overall. Who was he?
I don't know. Got nothing.
Ben Roethlisberger? No, he wasn't number one. You mean number one pick or their first number one?
Number one overall in the draft.
I don't know. Tommy Maddox.
He was actually taken in a supplemental draft. He wasn't even in the main draft.
But was he
Gary
number one?
Bradshaw was number one, 1970 or 71, one of the two. But yeah,
That seemed too obvious to me.
though,
That's why I didn't pick
it
Bradshaw.
proceeds to get more detailed. Like when I went into the what
You're
it'll do
glutton
is
for
it'll give you all the
punishment,
questions, but I'll
BD.
give
I
you a
gotta-
link to the answer. So they tell you where the answer pages are, but it runs the entire category of questions. Then you start seeing the answers.
Yeah, but he read
Which
this
is
whole
why I
book.
started writing them down.
So his sports knowledge just went up twofold just from reading this book, right? You probably learned a lot of stuff no one's ever
Oh,
gonna
I
know.
did, but it was frustrating. Like, for example, I mentioned this to you guys yesterday. This was the very first question on rookies. 18 quarterbacks have started all 16 regular season games as rookies. Name them. I mean, really?
Peyton Manning. And
That's one.
He's number 18, so that counts as all 18.
Yeah.
I don't
Number
know.
one, Steve. Damn it.
It's ridiculous. You could, seriously, I don't think that freaking Howie Schwab from Stump to Schwab would have been able to do. We would have been able
So
to get
you're
most.
more pissed that you couldn't 100% this book? Is that what we're dealing with right now?
Well, no, but I couldn't even I got just a little bit, more than probably the average amount, probably
I had to say that.
just a little over
Bill's
2/3.
the only person I know that would read a trivia book. I wouldn't read a trivia
Well,
book.
I like
I'm
trivia,
like, I'm out.
Steve, I'm good. Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird, but like the whole thing with the drafts, they went into people that came from the USFL, and they had this list of people. They ask you what CFL team they played with first, and you had the first couple easy ones. There's like Warren Moon, Doug Flutie, and whatnot. Then it got into players that were so obscure I'd never even heard of before.
You had never heard of them. It's got
Yeah, they were probably like back from like the 50s or 60s or whatnot, and they were role players. And
So, what is your rating on the Ultimate Football Trivia book?
I'd give it a 6.
68 out of 100.
67.9. Is that what you're giving it?
I'd give it more if it was. Some of the stuff was just so ridiculously detailed. Like to answer a trivia question, you shouldn't have to answer all 18 quarterbacks that have started all 16 games in the rookie year. I don't know how the hell anybody does that, and I'd be willing to bet this guy didn't do it.
So,
Because there was a section in the foreword that talked about he had to, without Pro Football Reference, I couldn't have done this. I think the guy just immersed himself into this one resource for football stats, and then put together a whole bunch and decided he was going to make a book out of it.
who do you think this book is targeted to? Like, what kind of people would want to read this book?
Probably people like me or worse.
Do you think this would help gamblers any? Or like, you think gamblers knowing this information help? I don't know. Probably
No,
not.
because it's all just
Old
all
crap.
trivia. It's not. No, you don't learn anything more about actual football. You learn more about football trivia.
So, what are the next books on your list that you think you might be moving to?
Well, there's some of the stuff that I've looked at. I've kind of shied away from because the time, like they're 10 years old or whatever. There's a book called, I can't remember what it's called. It's basically about how 5 of the earlier owners in the NFL basically ended up kind of making a sequence of decisions bound together to save the league. because football wasn't always that. I thought that would be pretty interesting. John Feinstein does a lot of sort of detailed books. Like I read one years ago called "A Season on the Brink," where he follows Bobby Knight and the Indiana basketball team in the '80s for a full season.
Chucking chairs.
That should be
Yeah, he did another thing about the first major where he does this thing about where he gets real in depth on the Masters. He's got a few that are about college basketball that seem pretty interesting. He did this book called The Quarterbacks or Quarterbacking, where he goes into real detail with professional quarterbacks to get sort of like the inside scoop on what makes a good quarterback, and that kind of stuff would be pretty interesting. There haven't been the thing is that there's not a whole lot out there that I'm all that interested in. Mm-hmm. And it is a pretty good time. It's at least a 2 or 3 hour time commitment every week. So especially
when you're keeping track of all the questions you got right.
Well, let's put it this way. I got through that one faster than I got through most because I was at least interested in the question. Because I started getting frustrated. I'm like, this son of a bitch. I was a little offended by it, but and I'm kind of reading some other stuff slowly that would make no sense to talk about on the podcast. So,
no interest in murder mysteries or a good sci-fi novel.
I don't do sci. I am to sci-fi the way that Charles and I both are to superheroes. I just don't do it. And I've never really gotten into fiction. I don't enjoy it. I don't have enough imagination for it. I can't lose myself in a book. I read for information, and that's pretty much it.
All right. So there you go. The Ultimate Football Trivia book. Yep. Now, where did you read this on? Was this on Kindle, I assume?
Yeah, I'm reading everything on Kindle right now.
Yeah, Kindle. So you get it on Kindle if you want to know obscure football trivia. Or Bill, just ask Bill. He might know it by now. All right. So, Charles, we're going to go into some reviews. I did break down and get me an iPad. And with the iPad, I got this. This is, I don't know what camera to hold this up to.
Oh, let me get you on the main one here. There you go.
All right. Ahead. This is the Apple Pen. Now, this little clip, I had a mechanical pencil I wasn't using. I put that on there. So that doesn't come with the pen. The pen comes with just the pen itself, comes with a power charging cord, and then at the end of it, see that? See how that goes like that? So what you do for the Apple Pen, Bill's got it up there. This is first gen, by the way. There's a second gen one out. It costs more than this one. So to link,
what did that one cost?
This was $100 new. I did get it on eBay for $60. So it was, but it is $100 brand new if you buy it brand new. So
this is used.
Yeah, this one's used. Okay. So if you want to sync it with your iPad, what you do is you take the top off, stick it in the iPad. It syncs the pen automatically. You're good to go. And then from there, it works great. It has lost connection a couple times for me, like where I left it off a couple days and came back, so I had to redo it again, which is a little annoying. Also, if you want to charge it, you can charge it directly into your iPad and just leave it there, and it'll take the juice out.
The new one you can just clip on the side, can't you?
Yes. The new one has a little bit more features. Yeah. But this also comes with an adapter you can put on here and then just plug it into your wall charger, thing there for the phone. As far as the use goes, it's a good stylus. Drawing and stuff like that, there's no lag. That's one thing about a stylus, especially on iPads, where you get a lag. You know what lag is, where the line's here and you're still doing it. Yeah,
it's not real one-to-one.
Yeah, this one, so far in the two apps I've tried it in, is one-to-one, stays on there. Pressure, tilt, all that good jazz. So obviously, it's a good, out of all the styluses and stuff, because Scott loves me when I talk about drawing.
Who cares?
The number one thing for drawing on digitally, this is the only reason I got this, is because I want to do some drawing on the iPad, because people have been telling me that's the next choice below Wacom. So I was going to do that.
What app are you using to draw on the iPad?
There's a couple. iPad's got a few. One, Sketchbook Pro. Sketchbook Pro is it's almost like it's gonna sound. It's just like the name. It's like a sketchbook, mostly pencil based. You want to do pencil thing. There's also Procreate. That's on iPad. It's $9.99. What?
Procreation.
Well, that's the name of it. And that's kind of like a lighter version of Photoshop, essentially, is what it is. There's also Photoshop on there, but you got to pay $10 a month for that. And there's also Clip Studio Paint, which I use on my PC. I paid $60 for it once, and that's good. But on the Mac or on the iPad for the Clip Studio Paint, you got to pay $10 a month to use it. So I'll just use my PC version. But pretty much Sketchbook Pro and Procreate are the top two that everyone likes on these. There are dozens, and people can tell me, well, I'd use this and this. There's dozens, but those are the top two most digital artists like. Now, there's some drawbacks to this thing, obviously. Number one is the price. Price is ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
$100, that's ridiculous.
Could you get a generic one like you did with your Huion thing you did last week?
Yeah, well, that
you...
comes with it. That
no, what I'm saying, could you get like the Huion equivalent of an iPad pen?
Yeah, Logitech makes one, but they still sell for $65.
Jeez.
Yeah, so anything you're paying that Apple tax, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, and the other, so the knock is one, there is no clip on it. Now it is metal, so but if you have a case on your iPad, it's not going to stick. You know, I have a plastic case on my iPad that I got for $6, so I can't stick. So with this clip, I can just clip it on. So that's kind of annoying. Two, if you're on a drafting desk, this is all circular, so it's going to roll right off.
Yeah.
So that's why this is putting
no
this clip
flat
on there.
spot on it. Yeah.
And this is pretty loose.
So you just determine you're going to lose that dust
yeah, this
cap.
and I looked it online. They actually, Apple and Best
Sells
Buy,
replacement?
they sell a little thing you could put on your pen that then
Condom
attaches to the
kinda thing?
cap. So you take it off, it's like dangling there.
jeez.
So they kind of know it's kind of a design flaw on
Yeah.
that thing. So those are some knocks on it. The other knock, so a Wacom stylus, no battery in a Wacom stylus. I don't have to connect it. I pick a Wacom stylus up right now, put it on my Wacom, boom, it's working. No matter, even that cheap tablet I had here, the Huion, boom, working. No batteries, no charging, no syncing. This has a battery life in it. It has batteries. It has to sync. So I always knock down styluses that have to do that. So out of 10, because of the price, because of the loose cap, because of the rolling, and because of that, probably give this a 6. Now the second generation, I think addressed a lot of the issues from this one, but then you're paying $30 more, so now you're paying $134.
Yeah.
Really, the price is the biggest knock. If this thing was $40, I would recommend it to everybody. I mean, it's $40, but $100 is crazy, and they're not the only
But
ones.
Apple's notorious for douche tax.
Yeah, and Microsoft does it too, though. For the
minute
Surface.
you put anything with these like graphics designers and everything,
Oh yeah,
it
it inflates.
yes.
Which is annoying because that's the lot of work I have to go into. But yeah, so that's the Apple Pen. If you're into digital art, you probably already know about it. It is nice. I wouldn't recommend it for everyday use. I mean, unless you just love styluses. Now it does keep the finger smudges off your iPad. If you want to use that instead. If you it does make a lot of clicking noise, so it does get annoying. So you're using it.
Yeah.
So you hear that. So if you're drawing a lot, you're gonna hear this a lot, and that's gonna drive whoever's sitting across from you in the office gonna be like,
as you click it
"Are
and
you
clacking
serious?"
away.
Yeah. So that could get annoying. But there you go. There's a look at the Apple Pencil iPad. I give it a 6. Like I said, if they dropped the price about 70%, probably be a 9 or a 10. So
I think it's a very niche-y thing, though. I think.
yeah. I don't think everyday use it would be. Yeah. It'd be great, like if it was cheap and you could buy it and give it to Lorna, and she could use coloring apps and color with it and stuff like that instead of using her finger all the time. But let's be honest, it's not that cheap. So now, what did you do? Why are you labeling things?
So as you see the new updated stream, I had to basically wire all the stuff in this crazy studio that we're working on. And a lot of cables, I tend
Bill
to
found the label maker background. Look at that.
Yeah, BB. All right. I like to buy the same company or like the same cable so that at least tells me when we have
the quality.
Not even that. I can also assume that it's not the cable that's the issue. If I have, so we have 3 identical cameras, and if I have 3 identical cables off of them, the odds of
Troubleshooting's easy.
Yes, exactly my point. But the problem is with doing that, you get 3 identical cable ends, and you don't know what ran to what. So I bought, it's a Dymo, what is it? It's a cable label manager. I think it's a 160. It was $23 at Staples. It annoyingly, much like ink cartridges, it came with like a little BS little cartridge thing in it with only like 9 feet of the little strip stuff. Super annoying. Tore right through it. But I bought a replacement cartridge for $14, and they can actually be cheaper on the web. And then the other thing I bought these little flags. So these will go around your cable ends, and then you could stick your label onto that onto that little flag. So if you look around, you'll see all what inputs and stuff like that they're labeled to. I put that label on there. So I just wanted to talk about, I love this label. It works great for my OCD-ness of everything because like I like to know what things are and like I hate when you go down to a power strip and you got to plug something in, you don't know what to unplug because you got 7 of the same exact identical PC ends and you're like, I could pull one of these, but it's going to be my router. I know it's going to be. So I just love it. Coupled with these little cheapy flags I bought off the internet, it's been great for
A
organization.
homemade trick a lot of people use for those flags are the plastic clips you have on hamburger buns and stuff. You know what I'm talking about? So the little plastic clip, you take the plastic clip, it's like square little thing. They pop those on their cables and then right on.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of the same concept.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the nice part was I bought these off eBay. I got 500 of them for like $9.
Yeah,
so I was like,
you'll have them for life because you'll never use more than 10.
Yeah, and then you can see on the little camera there, I put the little flag and just what goes into what. And then that way, when I get over here to this chaos that is my desk, I can quickly tell what all the cables are. And that's because of my Dymo label manager. I need to annoy Bergeron and talk about randomness all the time. So I figured I'd bring this up. $23 at Staples. You can't go wrong with a good label maker in your house.
The moral of that story is that you got something at Staples that was priced right.
Yeah.
I ran out of ink, and I have one of those printers that has black, blue, yellow, red.
The individual. Yeah.
I needed yellow, which ran out, and I was low on blue and red. What do they call it? Magenta, cyan, whatever.
Yeah.
And I went to Staples. For one color, they wanted $31.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I went to Best Buy. I got all 3 colors for $32. I was like, why? Staples is nuts. Anyways, random rip on Staple. So Apple Pencil, a little overpriced. Dymo Labor works great if you have OCD and want to label all your wires.
Yeah,
and in this day and age, even if you're not a tech person, say you just have phones and kids with phones and tablets, even that gets crazy, you know. I mean, even Bill with Abby, they've got 2 phones and 2 laptops and 2 everything else.
I can't say enough about these cheap little flags.
Yeah,
There's just a little
trick.
zip tie, and then you can just put it right on there.
I see it in action right here on this camera.
Yeah, it makes it super easy.
Yeah. So, Bill, do you have a lot of cables and stuff that you need to organize at home?
I could certainly use it to organize them. Yeah. That would be very handy.
Yeah, even the non-tech homes. I mean, I know
you just get to a point.
I know you and I are a little extreme compared to other people, but at the same time, I mean, even at Dad's house, there's wires and stuff everywhere. So
I got a big thing with most of the stuff in the studio stays pretty temporary for us because I take the studio down and bring it back up every weekend. But like usually, I like to tuck all my cables, wrap them all up, bundle them all up because cables can get crazy.
Yeah.
The nice part too about with the internet and stuff like that. Getting those right length cable is a godsend. Like if you need only an 18-inch USB micro cable, I'll go on eBay and buy it for $3 just to have it. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
That was my own problem with that ripsaw thing I bought. That USB cable was only this long, and my computer was 10 feet away. So what am I gonna do with this tiny ass cable?
18-inch cable.
Yeah, it's like, oh man.
12-foot run.
Oh, tech problems. All right, so this week I realized I watched a couple of these already, so it might be ruined. This week we had a new Blu-ray came out. There's a new game I wanted to put up there because I was curious if any of you guys would be interested in it. And there is a new game next week, obviously too. But let's start it off. Trolls World Tour. Obviously, I'm a yes because I've already watched it. Charles, you're a yes, of course.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We rented it for the $20. We did the full-fledged movie rental type thing, and I enjoyed it. And it was a great night for us as a household and stuff like that.
I feel a lot better playing $3.50 at Family Video than I would have been $20.
But I mean, we bought it months ago.
You saw it way before I did. And Bill, are you interested, you and Abby, to sit down, watch Trolls, and sing along?
Not my thing, but I'm sure it was nice.
Okay.
Now, the big game that came out this week, and I didn't realize they were still making this game. This game's been around a long time. NASCAR Heat came out, and why I'm asking this is because sometime a good racing game can be fun for a while. Is anyone interested in NASCAR Heat? Comes out this week on Xbox, PS4, and PC. Charles, any interest?
No, because NASCAR's racist. Right,
what if you get to be the Bubba Wallace Black Lives Matter car? No?
NASCAR's racist.
All right. And Bill?
Well, besides the fact that NASCAR is racist, my problem with NASCAR games has always been that they're not fun like other racing games.
Yeah, that's true.
You're always too compacted. I don't want to have to draft. I don't have to get worry about the whole line and the whole if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing kind of crap. And it's not exciting.
I can't think of the last time I played a NASCAR game. It has to be in the 90s the last time I played one.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I played other racing games like Forzas and stuff, but NASCAR has been a long time. So I was just curious about that because I saw it was coming out. I was like,
if they make it arcade, it could be kind of fun. But
yeah. All right, so of course Jim Jeffries on Netflix. Intolerant came out this week. I already watched it, so I'm a big yes. Charles, were you interested in Jim Jeffries?
You're not that keen on it. It sounds okay. If I get like a rant, I might throw it on a background while I do something else.
And Bill, are you interested in Jim Jeffries?
Yeah, I like him. I'll watch it.
All right. Now this week, you've heard a lot about this. I think it's on TNT, or no, it's ESPN2. It's got so each NBA team has their own 2K esports team, and that's starting up this week, I guess. I've never watched this. I don't know how good these teams are. Side note: NBA 2K20 is free on PlayStation 4 this month. I've already downloaded it. Man, I know how you feel when you walk into Madden now because you haven't played Madden in a long time. I watched that basketball.
The minutia of it.
I took the Rockets and I was playing someone. I think it might have been Colorado.
You just want an NBA Jam game.
Oh, I couldn't hit a bucket. I had Westbrook. He was missing layups.
You got to hit it like the top. It's
terrible.
Like the punt meter over and over again.
So it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm so. But the league is coming out ESPN2. I'm kind of mild on this. I want to see at least one episode. I've never seen this. I want to know how good these guys are and what the presentation is like during this show. Charles, any interest in the NBA 2K league?
I've talked about it at length, and I steadfast to it. If it's something I can go and do myself, like play a game, I don't get esports. It is lost on me. If you want to play NBA, go play NBA. Go buy a copy. What are we talking about? I don't get it.
Bill, any interest?
I actually watched this for about 20 minutes a few weeks ago. They were showing something from the league, and they basically have two screens up at each top corner with the players from each side, and they're showing and it's I mean, I showed you how starved for sports I was, but it's not overly entertaining. It's just literally watching people play NBA 2K on TV.
I do have a question though. When they're playing, this is probably the reason I wanted to watch it. If you could just tell me, I won't have to watch it. When they're playing, so is it teams of 5 players, video game players, or is it one guy controlling the whole team?
No, I think it's definitely multiple players. I don't know if it's 5. I think it is. The other thing too is, for example, like you said, you took the Rockets. You don't have Harden and Westbrook and whatnot. These guys have their own created players with their own names on it.
What?
I don't know if they're supposed to be those players that they just put their name on it, but the players get identified.
This sounds terrible.
Yeah,
have a different name to it.
You don't take the real. Now let me ask you this too. This is the other thing I was wondering. So you watched a little bit of the gameplay. Were they playing like realistic basketball, or were they coming down doing like a money thing and shooting?
Money.
Yeah, were they doing?
Scream Kobe.
They were sort of playing. It was sort of in between. I mean, they would move the ball down and there'd be pass around, but it wouldn't be. I mean, they weren't, from what I saw, not organized enough to be running like plays to the level that you would see in an actual game. But they move the ball around a little bit, and there's some realism to it. But it's a lot of what I saw was either someone got it and decided he was going to try to go to the basket, or it's kick it to somebody and shoots a 3 right away. It wasn't.
All right, I was curious. No, now I don't need to watch it because Bill told me I'm good.
Like I said, I don't know, it might be that they actually have the players. Like whoever has Westbrook has Westbrook's characteristics. It's just you don't actually see it Westbrook written on the name tag for that player.
That's
it's
weird.
like the player name of the controller.
Well, you killed all interest in that, so I think I'm good. All right, and now next this week is Cannonball. This is Miz. Miz hosts this. It seems like a knockoff of Wipeout. I'm good. I'm not gonna watch it. Charles,
I already did watch this. I caught it when it was on NBC though. I didn't know it was a USA product. I don't know. Maybe they're bouncing it between networks because it didn't hold down or something like that. It is exactly it. It's Wipeout light with the Miz. It doesn't have. The Wipeout was funny because it had the ability to just kind of not take itself too serious, but they did just enough humor that was really funny. I loved Wipeout. Cannonball's okay. We're getting down to the dregs that we talked about with Tough as Nails, so you might turn it on, throw it on, and
is
check
Miz
it out.
at least funny?
They don't really talk too much. They're just kind of like, 1, 2, 3, Cannonball, and then they go and do something. It's just,
Bill, any interest in Cannonball?
I'll probably stop and look at it for a few minutes if I happen to go past it, but I'm not going to seek it out and watch it on purpose.
Now, next up is Ringside on Showtime. I think this was a documentary about a big fight coming up. I could be wrong. I had it down. had the description down, but I must have deleted it. Ringside, Bill, if you could look that up real quick. I can't remember what it was about, but I know it's about boxing. It's about a big. It's like a documentary / thing where you see behind the scenes leading up to a big fight. I like those kind of things. I do watch them, but it's on Showtime, so I'm going to forget all about it. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
Charles.
The problem you run into with this right now is who's big in boxing right now.
Tyson Fury, and that's about it.
But yeah, I was gonna say, like, you basically got two heavies, and that's it. You got Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Other than that, who cares? Like, I don't know. Okay. I'm with you. I enjoy some locker room stuff and all that kind of stuff, but I don't get it.
And Bill?
Well, this isn't that, though. Apparently it chronicles the dramatic upbringing of boxing prodigies Kenneth Sims Jr. and Destin Butler Jr. and their aspirations of surviving on the dangerous south side of Chicago to achieve boxing glory.
That's
this almost.
I knew it was a documentary.
Just from reading this, it kind of reminds me of like Hoop Dreams, but boxing.
Yeah.
Except they're actually starting to, and maybe I don't know whether they're pros or not, but I mean, I don't have Showtime, so.
But if you did, would you watch it?
Yeah, I'd watch it.
All right. So there we go. That's a look at this week. It's always hard to find stuff sometimes, but next week we'll see what we can find. Charles, tell us about Fight Island and the pay-per-view.
Yeah, so we picked this up yesterday, UFC 251. Me and BV watched it. It was a 12-hour-long broadcast.
Jesus Christ. All three of us were dozing off in the last fight.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. That thing went over like 2 a.m. or something like that. I was like, Jesus. The other thing, the venue sounded better on paper. It was just a UFC event.
I was thinking about this on the way over. They should have hyped it up. They should have done something. They should have called McMahon and said, listen, what can we, just for the first one, and then multiple ones in Fight Island, fine. But for the first one, just do something special. Some fireworks, some monks, some something. And they just kind of, there it is.
You wouldn't know if someone woke you up and said, this is not in Vegas. It was very disappointing.
I thought they were going to hype up the Fight Island aspect.
There was you couldn't even see outside. Yeah. It was like a pitch black little arena. And yeah, they pulled it off and all this kind of stuff, but like, who cared? It had no impact on the event.
Right.
And the event was Dick Kick Saturdays. BV coined it earlier, and a lot of groin shots, but man, very mediocre.
A lot of five-round decisions.
It was not a good showing. So, just to go through some of the reviews, so Kimura Usman beat Jorge Masvidal. Alexander Volkanovski, he stole one by the judges.
The Muchacho.
Yeah, from Muchacho Max Holloway. Yeah, he got hosed. All three of us were like, wait, what? Like, who was watching what fight? Yeah. So,
boxing judges.
Yeah,
my highlight, there was one highlight, though, where that guy almost died from a choke.
Yeah, I guess. It just was not very good, man.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And for $65, like, dude, what are we talking about right now? Yeah, that was not a big showing.
But
man.
I bet you know that UFC 4 is coming out for EA Sports.
Oh my God, they were pimping the shit out of that video game. Man.
They were worse than WWE with that.
If you pre-order it now, you can get the Anthony Joshua and
Tyson Fury.
Oh my Lord, man! I just. Very lukewarm. I think all of us are in the opinion that was like a solid 4 out of 10.
Yeah, they dropped the turd on that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, UFC. I love you, Dana White, but this is bad. I don't know. And then, like I said, the whole fight out, they didn't lean into it enough.
Nothing.
Yeah,
no hype, no nothing.
Yeah.
So you could have cross-promoted Mortal Kombat. You could have done something.
Anything.
Call up WWE. So listen, we need some vid packages and stuff.
Yeah, very mediocre.
Their marketing company should be fired after this one.
Yeah, and then so we've got midweek. We've got on the 15th. We've got Calvin Kattar versus Dan Ige happening. I'll watch it. ESPN. I'll check it out and see what's going on. Hopefully, it's a little more intense than what we got going on at the actual UFC 251. And then the other one. So Mike Perry was the guy who I talked about a couple weeks ago. He had his girlfriend corner him. And he did that. So he ended up getting into a fight at a restaurant, like in Texas. He punched an old man. Like, and Dana White came out and was like, yeah, I could see this probably happening. Like, not a good look for your sport. It just looked very, like, kind of, it was like when McGregor threw the stuff at the bus and everything like that.
Or punch an old man in Ireland.
Yeah, just not bad. Yeah, or not good. And just look like hotheads and kind of assholes.
They need a new subtitle. UFC, we punch old men.
Yeah, it came off bad, if I'm honest. So, Yeah, just a bad week all the way around. Super disappointed.
They all can't be winners.
Yeah,
you know.
But it was a bummer. All three of us sat here and spat out like different kinds of like theories and different things they could have done. It was a missed opportunity, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, a real bummer. Scroll down a little bit. Let's see. So now we're gonna get in the news, and we got some interesting news that I thought a couple of them that would Bill might be interested in as well. First up, let's congratulate the man that's no longer poor.
I didn't know he was to begin with.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes signs a 10-year, $500 million deal.
Half a bill.
$500,000 bill with the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations to him. He is moving up. No more spam for him. He's moving up the state.
He was living check to check.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how he was working on those pennies before. But congratulations to him. A 10-year deal, though. That seems long. I'm surprised by the length of the contract, really. But other than that, I mean, what else can you say? Charles and I both agree. That means the rest of the team's going to struggle for the rest. They will not be re-signing half their receivers, half their
starters. We named like 4 or 5 different teams. We're like, dude, I don't know, man. Good luck to you.
They'll be having Jobby Nooner players.
I don't know, man.
Bill, any thoughts?
Well, we were talking last night about how this could possibly be team friendly. And so the thing is that I guess the reasoning for this is that there's not a lot of money tied to the initial signing bonus, which gets amortized over, a certain way over the to the salary cap over the course of the contract. So I guess it's got a structure that allows it to, if they need to free up cap space, they can convert the big yearly salary, some of it, over to signing bonus to open up cap space to hire or to sign other players. So they can move it around. It's sort of like manipulate the payment or the salary versus the upfront money to make it work for the salary cap. I still don't know how that's going to make a huge difference, but I mean, $500 million is still $500 million.
Yeah,
that team's gonna fall apart.
Yeah. Well, they got a couple years and then it's all over, right?
Yeah.
And Andy Reid will retire and everything will fall apart. So he can't have much longer. I mean, Andy Reid's been coaching forever. You would think.
He finally got the Super Bowl. So
yeah, he might be ready to write off. All right. So also on this podcast, we've covered one of Steve's favorite video game studios is Warner Brothers Studios, who makes the Injustice movies, Mortal Kombat, Lego
very
games.
Well thought of.
Yeah, they're very well thought of. Now a new contender's in the mix that wants to buy them. Microsoft has come out and said they want to buy.
Does this annoy you a little bit? Because that would mean console exclusivity for
because Microsoft shares everything with the PC, so I could play it on the PC. So you'll get at least 2 with Microsoft. You can play it on the Xbox or the PC. I'm fine with that. I'm just curious to see if the DC licensing goes with the studio.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing I'm curious about.
Because Warner proper owns.
So
that's a good question.
That is, I imagine what they would do is sell the studios to them and then license the product, the IPs to Microsoft for them to make stuff. We'll see. Microsoft. We'll talk. I'll keep it coming up later.
Ooh, tickle your ass with the feathers, dude.
Now, Bill, you were a big fan of Mike and Mike in the Morning on radio, right?
I was, yeah.
Back when it was Mike Greenberg, Mike Golick. Yeah. It was a very entertaining show. And they tend to beef a little bit. It was kind of good.
Yeah, well, I guess they beefed in real life is why they broke up. And then he went with Trey Wingo in the morning.
And no one watched it.
Yeah.
I could see why this got the plug pulled on.
Yeah, so Mike Golick is no longer with ESPN Radio. I guess he was with them for 19 years, they said, since he retired. Or since he was retired from NFL. Bill, any thoughts on that? You bummed that Mike Golick is leaving ESPN, or could you give 2 shits?
Well, no, I mean, Golick and Wingo never really hit the mark. I still like Golick, and it's weird. He's still under contract with ESPN through the end of the year, so who knows what, if anything, they're going to do with him. But some of the stuff that I was looking at the what they're going to replace it with, and I think the morning show that they're going to put in is going to be, what was it? Something like.
ESPN's got to be hemorrhaging money right now.
Yeah.
They have no viewership. They've got to be hemorrhaging
Well, this is
money.
mostly radio we're talking here. So.
Yeah, but they also put them on TV.
Yeah.
ESPN2 shows the show every morning.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they simulcast it with ESPN. But it's some, is it Keyshawn Johnson and a couple other people are going to be the new morning show.
Oh.
And I don't, I don't know. Keyshawn Johnson has never really been that interesting to me on, he's on, football preview, the pregame shows and whatnot. Never really did it for me. I had read too that I guess when they were talking initially about canceling the show, Golick even proposed reuniting with Greenberg to bring Mike and Mike back because they're moving Greenberg off of his TV show and back to it. He's going to be on a radio show, I guess, in the afternoon now. So I think starting in August when all the changes make. So he's not keeping that morning show, and apparently they turned it down.
Hmm.
I don't know whether it was Greenberg that turned it down or whether it was ESPN. But,
well, I mean, you don't have to feel sorry for Mike Golick. He's got plenty of money and he can ride off in the sunset. But I thought that was interesting.
He'll end up on somewhere like CBS One
or Fox Sports or something. He'll end up somewhere.
Maybe before Cowherd or whatever.
Yeah. So there we go, a little shake up in the sports radio world. And also now next, we tested it here, Uber Eats and DoorDash and all those good. Uber has acquired Postmates. Now, here in the Midwest, that doesn't mean anything, or Central, wherever we are. Postmates was a big delivery service out in the West, Arizona, California, stuff like that. Basically the same thing as DoorDash and the Uber Eats. So Uber bought Postmates for $2.65 billion. Jesus. Which now makes them, they're still the number 2 delivery service behind DoorDash. DoorDash is number 1 throughout the country. And number 2 is Uber Eats now mixed with Postmates. So I always love it when big tech companies get acquired and stuff. And I always think of the one guy that made that company and then he's going to sell it for that money and run. I wish I could do that. Anyways.
Well, Postmates, I wonder if Uber will incorporate this across the rest of their platform. Postmates wasn't just like from your, getting orders of food from your restaurant. They do groceries. They do liquor. So they do a lot more delivery than just what Uber Eats does.
Bring me some booze.
Yeah, bring me some hooch. Oh, man. So there you go. There's a look at big corporations buying each other. Now, speaking of the big corporations, Microsoft's back getting some more news. Halo 3 is finally coming to PC on its own. Now, the PC has the Halo Master Collection, which Halo 3 is part of. But they're making it separate on its own, Halo 3. You can go back, and I think they're remastering a little bit of the graphics and stuff like that, which I have.
There's got to be no market for that.
I have the Game Pass. So if it comes on Game Pass, I might play it, run through it. See
it's one of those things like they're going to do it just to say they can or something like that. Like, why? How much of a market is there for that? It just seems crazy to me.
I don't know.
Who's like sitting there like, finally, Halo 3 on PC? Yeah, it's so weird.
So there you go for Halo 3. Now, I saw this one. This is made by I think it's Sony or Samsung. I don't remember which. There's a new air conditioning shirt. So what you have is an undershirt T-shirt, the Charles multi-layer, and it's got a compartment right behind your neck, above where your shoulders are, and you get this thing about the size of a cell phone, and it's essentially a giant fan with air conditioning capabilities, and you stick it in the sleeve in the shirt, and then you put your dress shirt over it. And it's supposed to self-air condition you all day long.
Until that thing explodes in you, and then you got like all this crazy.
Japanese guys are going to be on fire all over the town.
Like, what are we talking about?
They were supposed to release these during the Olympics, but obviously we know what happened in the Olympics. Yeah. So now, but they've been all over the internet lately. So air-conditioned shirts, if your office is not cool enough for you, and you want to risk having a motor strapped to your back.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if there's Freon in them or not, but there you go. Now, I put this one on here for Charles. Baby Yoda cereal is finally coming. You know it's going to be the most
cereals taste like
generic,
shit.
terrible cereal.
Terrible tasting.
But it sounds like a taste test to us. Yeah. So I don't know.
So stay tuned for Baby Yoda taste test.
Yeah, we're going to be like, this is pretty terrible.
Yeah,
I think it had marshmallows shaped like Baby Yoda, and then with the other crunches.
I hate those freeze-dried marshmallows.
Yeah, I think that's what's in it.
The worst tasting.
Judging by the picture.
Lucky Charms is the single most overrated cereal on the planet, without a question.
Bill, are you a big cereal fan or not?
Not really, and when I do, I eat things like, natural Raisin Bran, and I don't.
What are you, 100? Like, what's going on?
No,
I thought I had old man taste.
I don't eat a lot of cereal.
At least I eat Post Raisin Bran.
Jesus.
Well, Post. At least they used to make a natural one. I don't like the one with all the sugar on the raisins. I like the natural flavor of the raisins. So.
You sound like such an old man. Right?
Yeah, the natural.
He likes oatmeal with no flavoring.
Yeah, what?
I like the taste of raisins. I don't want a bunch of sugar on it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, there we go. So Baby Yoda cereal coming now. Now, July 23rd is a big day, Charles. Mark it down. Mark it down.
Yeah, I know about this.
This is where I say we're going to go back to Xbox. Xbox.
Do you get a price?
That's what I was going to ask you. Second part of this.
Yeah.
So they're having. It's called the Game Showcase. It's going to be online. They're going to tell you new games, and so what are everyone's predictions is, if you have any, of this big showcase. What are they going to tell us? Any predictions, Charles?
I don't think you're going to get a price. I think you're going to get the price deeper,
No?
closer to the beginning of fall. I think you're going to get more exclusive. I think you could also see some more acquired studios and stuff like that, I think is what you could see. I don't think you're going to get a price because I don't think that they have enough manufacturing nailed down to kind of make sure that they can tell you what they're going to get. So
I think their last showcase thing they had, what was that, March or whatever? And a lot of the criticism they got was it looked like a lot of little independent games, nothing really great.
do you think you're going to get some blockbusters?
I think you get a lot of AAA big ones here. I think you're obviously going to get Halo. You're going to get more Halo this week.
But Halo 3 on PC?
Halo 3 on PC. Halo, whatever number they're on now, 6. Halo Infinite, it's called. You're going to get a lot of that. I think they're going to cover a lot of features on the Xbox, what it can do. I think they're also going to stick with, because PlayStation 4 and 5 aren't doing this, that free upgrade thing to the new system.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to promote that a lot because that kind of sticks it to Sony.
Yeah.
You're like you. I don't think they're going to cover the price. I think you're going to get a couple new IPs you weren't aware of but I think they're also going to. I think they're going to pull a play up out of the Sony playbook, and they're going to get either Call of Duty or one of the big games come, maybe Assassin's Creed.
Get an exclusivity.
They're going to get something exclusive, maybe only for a year. Because PS4 has been doing that a lot to them lately. Even the Call of Duty, like you get Call of Duty now, you get free stuff here. We won't get that on Xbox until 2 years later. So I think we're going to see some of that. So it should be interesting. Bill, any thoughts on what Xbox should show, or don't care?
I don't really know much about Xbox. I've never really been into it, but I will say this, and I think this goes for both Xbox and PS5. The longer they wait to disclose the price, I think the likely higher the price it will be.
That's what I think is happening. Yeah. I agree with PV.
So there we go. We'll look at everything this week. And as far as news goes, and Charles, do you want to end it with the
No, I'm just
kinda
going to
covered it a little
talk. I
bit,
just was trying to figure out. We kind of talked about it earlier in the shows. I just question whether or not it has to do with the flip-flopping on the mask. We already kind of talked about how much we were seeing people wear masks and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why it's so hard to just wear a mask. It's a weird thing that got politicized. It's just crazy to me. I just can't even wrap my brain around like why it's like a statement. It shouldn't be to make sure you keep people safe. I don't know, man. It's a weird country we're living in right now. So
yeah. And like I said, once she put that executive order in, it seemed like a lot of people. Hey, when you hit them wallets, that's when everyone complies.
Yeah.
That's when everyone really cares. So I don't know. It's Facebook. It's social media. It's
weird times we live in, man.
There's conspiracies all over the place, and maybe some of it's based in fact. I don't know. So maybe some of it is political. Who knows? But at the end of the day, that's not up for us to decide. So, all right, that's going to wrap us up for episode 105 this week. Of course, you can catch us on one of the 3 live feeds we have now. We did get a comment in from Inverse Oreo at YouTube.
Yeah.
Asked, why do we name us fat guys? Well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. So, like I said, you can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook every Sunday at 5:30. We're going to try to get Twitch gaming in a little more. I've been trying to do that. Still feel stupid talking to myself.
Yeah.
Of course, you can catch us on Google Play, iTunes, all those other things. I guess iTunes, I gave a huge description last week.
Steve had like a 5-paragraph description.
I'll have to cut that down a little bit.
BB, hold on. Before we go, are you going to review the tomatillo salsa that you got for your paralegal before we go?
Sure.
Was it delicious?
Well, it's excellent. The thing is, too, is it was really spicy, and I love that.
How did she heat it up? Did she put some pinos in there, or did she heat it up with?
I don't know exactly what's in there, to be honest with you. I'll have to ask, but I've had it before. She'll make it, bring it into the office and stuff, and so she just brought the bag of chips along with some coworkers decided to show up at the house and You know, the hat I'm wearing was one of the things that they gave me, and then she gave me the chips and the green salsa, and it's delicious.
Tomatillo salsa.
Very big container of it too. Like I'll have way
He's
more.
got a jug of freaking tomatillo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have it. Yeah, I'm gonna have it for. I probably won't be able to finish it all.
Hey, tell everybody, what was that ice cream and cheesecake you got?
Juniors, he was saying.
The cheesecake that my wife ordered for me from Houston, or not from New York, was called Juniors.
And that was that Chuck Schumer thing. That's what I was going to say before. So that one politician got in trouble for buying Junior's cheesecake and spending all that money to send them to people.
And what was the ice cream? Was there ice cream?
The ice cream, we were at the grocery store yesterday, and I said, I want to have some ice cream. And I had, actually, I forget what it's called.
Ice cream with him?
He's got ice cream in his office.
Well, no, I threw it in my
Gross.
trash can. It was Ben and Jerry's. The flavor was Wake and No Bake Cookie Dough Core.
Oh, man. Wake and No Bake.
Said the diabetic guy from Chicago.
Hey, well, I mean, this is actually the first time I've really had ice cream since
Since
had
the
other
diagnosis.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, catch us on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, everywhere you can find podcasts. And until Spotify gives us a $100 million contract with Joe Rogan, you can catch us everywhere.
Yeah.
So, until next week, this is Steve.
And Charles.
Catch you next time.